Hey guys, what is up? This is Mr. A. Crizzy here, and in tonight's horror movie review, this review is going to be on the 1979 psychological thriller or horror film or whatever you want to call it. And so, this review is going to be on the 1979 movie, When a Stranger Calls. When a Stranger Calls is directed by Fred Walden and stars Carol Kane. And so in this movie, we follow a young high school student named Jill Johnson, played by Carol Kane. And so, one night she babysits for a very rich family. But then, at first she thought this was going to be a relaxing night for Jill. But then she soon begins to receive very, very strange, odd phone calls threatening the children. And so when she finally releases that it's not a joke, she calls the police, and so telling them that this stranger has been stalking her, and basically the stranger keeps on calling her like every 15 minutes and won't stop. So, but then Jill then finds out that the calls are actually coming from inside the house. And then right after the first 23 minutes, we follow these like private investigators, like detectives and all that, and basically they're all trying their best they're all trying to work their hardest, do their jobs, and try and stop this stranger from harassing Jill. And yeah. So yeah, guys, I actually first heard about this movie a long time ago. And yeah, I think I remember watching a clip from this film, which I think it was during the opening sequence to this movie, like the first 23 minutes of this film. And because I remember watching a clip from this movie a long time ago, and yeah, after watching the whole thing, I gotta say it's honestly not really that bad of a movie in my opinion. I thought it was great. Yeah, and sure, this movie did get 38% on Rotten Tomatoes, because when this movie first came out in 1979, it didn't do well for critics, but then later on, this movie went on to become a cult classic. And the opening to this movie, the beginning, like the first 23 minutes of this film, the first 23 minutes of this movie is the reason this movie became a cult classic, and it's also been regarded as one of the scariest openings in film history. And also, fun fact, guys, one of my favorite horror films, the first Scream, Wes Craven's Scream from 1996. The first 13 minutes of that movie with Drew Barrymore, the opening to Scream actually paid homage to the opening of When a Stranger Calls, because it's basically how Drew Barrymore's character gets a phone call from like Ghostface and all that. Like, yeah, I'm sure you guys get it. So, yeah, it's an interesting fun fact there. And as for the rest of this movie, the rest of the movie is honestly not really that bad for the time being. And it's like, and of course, I do get the whole cult classic thing, and that this movie has been regarded as like one of the most scariest films. Although after the 23 minutes, after the 23-minute opening, it kind of almost feels like this movie's not even that scary at all. I mean, sure, it is technically a horror movie, even though you call it, sometimes you can call, or some of you guys may call this movie a psychological thriller movie, or it's pretty much like, it's pretty much almost like a mixture of psychological thriller, crime, horror films, and that's the best way I can describe this whole movie as a genre. And yeah, and despite the fact that Columbia Pictures distributed this movie, for some odd reason, the Sunburst logo does not even appear at the beginning. Like, for some odd reason, the Columbia Pictures Sunburst logo was not used at the beginning of this movie, even though Columbia Pictures themselves distributed this film. But yeah, and plus this movie also came out the same year as Kramer vs. Kramer, which was another 1979 film from Columbia Pictures. But yeah. But I gotta say, the cast members, the acting is really good. And I gotta say, Carol Kane does a good job playing Jill Johnson in this movie. I think she really plays the role perfectly. And, Carol Kane, she does good as Jill. And yeah, it's like, oh yeah, and also the music in this movie is also very, very scary and intense as well. Very scary and suspenseful too. Because and I think I remember reading like a long time ago, like some parts of the music in this film like that was heard 3 times throughout this movie. So some parts of the music goes like that kind of almost sounds like the THX deep note. Yeah, because I actually remember reading that I think some people in the comments or like in the video I watched involving the opening scenes of this film, like one of the comments actually said that piece of music that was used 3 times in the film, it kind of almost sounds identical to the THX deep note, even though it sounds a little alike. But even though THX was founded in like 1983, like after this movie came out, and maybe from what I was reading on the internet, maybe the music in this film was kind of the inspiration for the THX deep note. Yeah, I mean, I remember reading about that, but yeah, it's just me. But yeah, the cast members all do a good job. Besides Carol Kane, I know Charles Durning does good as John Clifford in this film, as one of the private investigators and detectives. Like, Charles Durning's good. And oh yeah, plus I actually remember seeing a trailer because there was actually a remake that came out in 2006, and I remember seeing the trailer for the remake like a bunch of times, and the 2006 remake, but that Simon West directed. And yeah, I actually saw the trailer for the remake, and yeah, it probably looks like crap anyway. It kind of almost looks like a bland, soulless remake to a cult classic. Yeah. Even if I were to watch the remake in its entirety, then, you know, obviously I know some of you guys may know that I would give it a pretty bad rating, but I'm just here to talk about my thoughts on When a Stranger Calls. So, yeah, the original from 1979. So, overall, When a Stranger Calls is a great cult classic film, and I'm going to give this movie, When a Stranger Calls, 4 stars out of 5. And you know what they say, guys, never ever talk to strangers. So yeah, 4 stars out of 5 for me on this film. And if some of you guys out there have not seen this film, then I say it's a good watch for Halloween or anytime that you want to check this movie out. So yeah, guys, that's my review on When a Stranger Calls. Hope you guys liked it. And with that being said, thanks for watching as always. And if you're not subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. And also make sure to like this video as well. With that being said, until next time, this is Mr. A. Crizzy saying, goodbye everybody, and that's about it.